Hi, everybody. Welcome back to #AskDLT. I'm Matt Weldon, DLT Director. It's a pleasure to be with you this week as so many changes have happened. And I know people have asked questions. We're going to get to those in just a minute. Thanks for hanging in there with me along the way. It's been an interesting time for everybody and a rocky road here, as well as with everybody out there in our community. You know, DLT has been busier than we've ever been in the history of our program. Ever in the history of our program. We're way busier now than we ever were before. The good thing about that is I think that all the changes that we've made with process around here, some of the IT changes, and even more IT changes to come, you know, they're all going to help. And in the future, we're going to have better customer service, which is great. The customer service challenges we've had before have never been because the people that work here weren't trying hard. They work 7 days a week to try to deliver top-notch customer service and help you and your families. The challenges are always going to be present, and that is sometimes the volume is just overwhelming. And I use the analogy from time to time that I have to go through Providence to get home every day, and usually the ride isn't so bad. What happens if it's the busiest day of the year and they close the highway? Then everybody has to use back roads to get from Cranston through Providence. That would be difficult. And that's kind of what happened during the pandemic with unemployment systems throughout the country. The systems were never meant to handle the volume that we all dealt with. And so there's no excuse. We want to do better. We're going to do better. We're going to keep trying. But everybody here has tried awful hard along the way. And so I want to thank all of them for their dedication and hard work. And I thank you for your continued patience. Okay, times have changed. The federal programs, we talked about it for a long time. They came to an end. This payment that everybody's getting this week is the last payment on the federal programs. What does that mean, practically speaking? It means that 57,000 people had asked for a payment last week, and about 46,000 of them will no longer qualify. That's a lot of people. 29,000 people were collecting pandemic unemployment assistance. 16,000 people were collecting on an extension of a regular unemployment claim. And everyone, even the 11,000 that will keep collecting, will lose the extra $300. So things are changing. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, that means that the benefits aren't coming through anymore. We need to get you connected to the economy. We need to get you back into the workforce as soon as possible. Some of you aren't going to be able to do that for different reasons. We encourage you to go to DHS's website, Department of Human Services, at www.dhs.ri.gov. And you can look into different benefit programs that may be available, whether it be for food assistance, cash assistance, housing. You can also go to Rent Relief RI, and that will be as a program there with some federal money that they can help you with back rent or utility bills if you have any, or some going forward. There are a lot of services available. We encourage you to take advantage of those. We don't want you to be in a position where you can't take care of yourself or your family. But there's also a lot of job opportunities on backtoworkri.com, training opportunities. You can meet with a career coach. You can work with somebody to really get you on track to a new opportunity. And the thing I've said 100 times, I'm going to keep saying, is your first decision to re-enter the workplace doesn't have to be the last one. That means you can get a job now and keep looking for your next career opportunity. Those don't have to be the same thing. But let us help you. That's what we're here to do. All right, let's take a look at your questions. Okay, first one. If your workplace requires you to get vaccinated and you refuse, can you collect unemployment? What happens if you're allergic to the vaccine or have underlying conditions keeping you out of work? Good question. Rhode Island law says that employees in Rhode Island have to follow their employer's policies when those policies are reasonable in nature and have been clearly communicated and are treated fairly across everyone that works for them. So what does that really mean? Reasonable in nature. What's a reasonable policy? Right now, it's reasonable to require people to get vaccinated. You know, we're dealing with a situation that we've never really dealt with before. A vaccine is the best way to prevent the spread of this virus and to control it as much as we can. It's a reasonable policy to require people to get vaccinated. What would be unreasonable? If you said your employees had to get vaccinated by tomorrow, you need to give people ample time to be able to follow the policy in a meaningful way. So when we announced that the state has to have people vaccinated in healthcare fields by October 1st, and people had 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks of notice, that was probably ample notice. And so, yes, you have to follow your employer policy. What if you have a medical condition that prevents you from getting vaccinated? well, then we would look at that a little bit differently. And as somebody who has a medical reason that can be documented or a religious exemption, we're going to look at those situations and treat them a little bit differently. But generally, people that are just refusing to get vaccinated that lose their jobs will not be able to collect unemployment. Okay, next question. Is the governor going to extend the PEUC programs? Mr. Biden said they could. Okay, so let's clear that up a little bit because I think there's some confusion around that. The federal government gave states money to use for a variety of things, including many transformational changes to help the states right now and in the future, because we're dealing with an economy that's been devastated by the pandemic and that's slowly recovering. When the president and the US Department of Labor and Treasury came out and said that states can use some of that money to continue some type of unemployment-like benefit, they didn't mean continue the programs we have now. Those programs ended, they're over, they don't exist anymore. And we cannot physically continue them, they don't exist. So what they would have to do is recreate brand new programs, which we know takes time. But there is not a state in the country as of today that is going to use that money to continue payments, including Rhode Island. The time right now is to invest in job training. It's to invest in getting people connected to work and many other things. And the decision on how that money is spent is going to be made ultimately by the General Assembly, the legislature, through the legislative appropriations process, which means they're going to consider proposals and fund those proposals like they do every year with a state budget. And of course, the governor and the administration will be part of those discussions. I hope to have the opportunity to talk about some things that we think will be good ideas too. But right now, there is no discussion about continuing unemployment for anyone that doesn't qualify for regular unemployment. Okay, next question. I've been working short hours during the pandemic. Now I'm up to 25 a week. Can I receive some DLT payment since I've earned more than $120 this year? Maybe. So that's really going to depend on your unique situation. If you are not on unemployment right now, or you were and you think it came to an end, reapply. Go to dlt.ri.gov. There's a tab there for unemployment. You can apply for unemployment benefits. And if you have substantial earnings, if you've earned enough and meet the other criteria, you may be eligible to continue a partial claim going forward. And remember, we talked about this before. We did some work this year to change the law, which allows people that are working to earn more money, keep more of what they earn, and stay connected to unemployment. Now the extra $300 is gone, so that won't be added in, but you may be able to get a small unemployment payment along with your weekly wages. Okay. When it comes to people that fell under the Continued Assistance Act, back from a 22 BYE to 21 BYE, will the regular claim under the 22 BYE still be active once the federal benefits end? If so, should we go back to claiming under 22? Well, there should be an email in your inbox about that. Yes, we're going to go back to the 22. And since it's a regular unemployment claim and it has a good BYE, you would continue to collect on that claim. Remember, the benefit rate is going to be lower than what it was on the 21. That was the whole purpose of that, was to go back on it to give you an option. Right now, the option is over because of those federal extensions ended. So we have to put you back on the 22. It'll keep your claim alive for some period of time until your BYE comes up or until you use all the money, but it's going to be less money every week. Okay, next. I was advised back in July to use my old BYE code to get my full benefits and was told I would get the retroactive payments missed from using the new BYE code. Never heard anything about it after that and never. Okay, here's the thing. You're not alone. There are about 1,700 people that were in that situation, and it's a manual process. That means that my team at DLT has to sit and work on each and every claim, and we're doing that. So am I promising that you're going to have that money tomorrow? No. Do I think you may have it by the end of the week? Probably not. But will you have it soon? Yes. I think that, in the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, people should start to see this money. Every week we're handling these, we're doing as many as we can. But remember, people are calling us every day. We're taking about 500 to 1,000 phone calls that we actually handle. Several thousand come in every day. We also process new claims. We do all that work together, and my team has limited time just like everybody else. They work overtime every day. They're doing the best they can, but we can't do everything at the same time. So yes, it's going to take a little bit of time, and it is very complicated for a number of reasons. It's not as simple as just paying you the difference. We also have to go in and adjust the balance on your claim for every single one. We've got to do it right. We want to make sure you get as much as you can out of that claim and it lasts as long as possible. So please be patient with us and keep an eye. You'll see that money soon. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm on PUA, but got a BYE code until 2022. My claim ends on March 22. Do I keep certifying for regular UI after this week? No, if you're on PUA, your claim is over. It doesn't matter what the BYE is. It doesn't matter if somebody said to you online, hey, you can just keep certifying and you'll get regular unemployment. You won't. Regular unemployment was a separate program from PUA. I don't know why you would have had a 22 BYE, but you may have. And if you did, it's not going to work. The PUA program cannot be paid for any weeks after week ending September 4th. It just won't happen. The computer won't allow it to happen. And there's no program to pay you on. If you have a regular unemployment claim with a BYE of 22, you can keep collecting. And you just keep certifying under that claim until you run out of benefits. That brings up an important point. Some people have brought this to my attention lately. Just because your BYE says it expires, let's say March of 2022, doesn't mean your claim will be paid until then. There are two controlling factors on how long your claim will last. One, what's your BYE date? It's good for 1 year from the week that you filed it. Two, how much money do you have left? It's called a balance of credits, but how much money do you have in your account? The first one of those two things to expire ends the claim. And so what's happening is people think, oh, it's a March 22 BYE, I can just collect until then. No, you cannot. When you first got a notice, you were told how many weeks you had, and that's how long. Some people have 17 weeks, some have 20 weeks, some have 26. Nobody has more than 26. State law in Rhode Island limits the program to 26 weeks. But it doesn't mean you automatically get 26. It's based on how much money you earn in about the 15 months before you file. So it's different for everybody. We would have sent what's called a monetary determination when you first filed a claim, and that was exactly how long you can collect for. Okay. What else do we have? Does anyone know if we still get the extra 300? I do. You don't. I'm sorry. That came to an end. That was the FPUC program. At first, it was $600 a week added to your claim, then changed when there was a couple of versions of the federal programs. It changed to $300 a week. That program ended with a week ending September 4th. So no one will get the extra 300 for any weeks going forward. Now, like everything else in unemployment, it's complicated. If somebody tells you, hey, I just certified and I got the extra 300, that's because they were paid for a week in arrears, meaning a week before September 4th. Maybe they were owed some weeks, there were some back weeks, their claim was in adjudication, whatever. If we're paying you for weeks before September 4th, it comes with the extra 300. After September 4th, no extra 300. That's it. Okay. So what if your job just fired you knowing that I know things that would get him into trouble with the IRS? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you know. I don't know what they did. Here's how unemployment works. You file for unemployment. We notify your employer. If you indicate the reason for separation, meaning the reason you're not working anymore was because you were fired, that's going to set up a little bit of a flag here. We're going to need more information. Why were you fired? Sometimes people are separated. It just didn't work out. That doesn't necessarily mean you're fired in the same way that somebody is fired for cause, like they did something bad, they broke a rule, whatever, they were warned before and it happened again, they end up getting fired. We will talk to your employer, and if your employer says they were fired for cause, you say you weren't fired for cause, that sets up what's called an adjudication, which is a review of your claim. At that time, we're going to look at your claim and we're going to talk to you and the employer and take a statement. When we take that statement, we're then going to look at the law and see what we think we can do. We're going to issue a decision. That decision will come to you in the mail. If you disagree with the decision that we make, you can appeal it. It's free to appeal. And there's information about how to appeal included in every decision. If you need assistance in another language, there's information about how to get that free service as well. But no, there's no way to answer the question, will you qualify or will you not qualify? It really depends on the unique circumstances that you're in. Everybody's claim is different. I know we say that all the time because it's true. And so the circumstances that you're under are not the same as someone else. I'd say go ahead and apply. We'll see what happens. And when you get a decision, if you disagree, you can appeal. I think those are all the questions this week. That was a lot of questions, pretty good. I have asked you before to send me other questions if you want to. I'm happy to keep talking about unemployment, but I'm also, very willing to jump into a discussion about job training, workforce development, workers' compensation, temporary disability or temporary caregiver insurance, labor law enforcement. We do all sorts of stuff at DLT. Check out the website. If you have any questions and you want to ask us, ask next time at #AskDLT. Until then, stay safe. Think about getting vaccinated if you're not, please. And you can find information about that on the Rhode Island Department of Health website or vaccinateri.org. Please help us out, get vaccinated. Stay safe. Have a good day. I'm Matt Weldon. Take care.